हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion. Here we see that Prithvi Maharaj is having is chasing Mother Earth, and she took the form of a cow. Cow is considered very sacred, and Krishna loves cows, and we are all worshipping cows. It has a very important purpose behind it. Whomever we are worshipping means we are trying to gain the qualities of that person. That is the meaning of worship. When we worship any politician or a businessman or a sports player, this is the worship people are doing because they feel themselves incomplete, so they want to complete themselves. So the incompleteness, they feel that this person will make me complete. Uh, my wife will make me complete, husband will make me complete. Maybe if children are born, I'll become complete. So this completeness is there, but we still remain incomplete. And then they bring these politicians or some sports player or film actors in their life, whom they start worshipping. Worshipping is they may not put in the altar and do arati. Of course, some may do also. Like people they keep in the status and they share about them or discuss about them. That is also worship only. Like we are having Krishna Katha, they have our Prime Minister's Katha. And so they want to gain the qualities. But when we worship cow, we want to gain the qualities of mother cow. That's why. She's so selfless and she's non-envious. That is the quality. And why? Because her heart is pure. Anything goes into mother cow and comes out, it is always pure. Her heart is pure. So the cow dung, cow urine, milk, anything from mother cow is pure only. Because heart is pure, anything goes inside will become purified and come out. Even the skin of mother cow when she leaves her body can be used for mridanga for the pleasure of Lord. So everything is such a valuable because the personality's heart is like that. So when we worship, we gain the qualities of mother cow. So here Mother Earth took the form of a cow, but Prithu Maharaj was not ready. He said, "No way, I'm going to punish you." So she gives so many arguments why she should not be killed. And then to that, what Prithu Maharaj says that Prithu Maharaj replied to Mother Earth, to the earthly planet, "My dear Earth, you have disobeyed my orders and ruling. In the form of a demigod, you accepted your share of yajnas we perform, but in return you have not produced sufficient food grains. For this reason, I must kill you." So he gives the argument that every demigod is taking their share. Now they have to fulfill their commitment. So you have taken your payment, you have to pay back. The product should be given. So Mother Kusuma is telling, we did yajna for you, and in return you are not doing things. And here Prithu Maharaj, actually women, children, they should not be killed. They should not be punished very severely also. So these are the some of the rules that need to be followed. And she took her share, but she's not doing it. And extreme cases when this woman is too dangerous for the society, then they are kept in the prison and all. But executing them is actually not recommended. So although you are eating green grass every day, you are not filling your milk bag. So we can utilize your milk. Since you are willfully committing offenses, it cannot be said that you are not punishable due to your assuming the form of a cow. The cow eats grass and in green grasses in the pasture and fills her bag with sufficient milk so that the cowherd men can milk her. So yajnas are performed to produce sufficient clouds that will pour water over the earth. The word payah can refer both to milk and to water. As one of the demigods, the earthly planets was taking her share in the yajnas. That is, she was eating green grass, but in return she was not producing. So that's the what Prithvi Maharaj is meant. You are taking, you are happily enjoying, you are eating but not giving, not paying for it. So you are taking, not giving. Right. So for this, and then he says, you have so lost your intelligence that despite my orders, you do not deliver the seeds of herbs and grains formerly created by Brahma and now hiding within yourself. So you are hiding grains. So this is what he tells Mother and disobeying my order. So this is the first thing, disobeying my order. So now here, after that, he says that now with the help of my arrows, I shall cut you to pieces, and with your flesh satisfy the hungry citizens, hungry, sickened citizens who are now crying for want of grains. Thus, I shall satisfy the crying citizens of my kingdom. Now, Prabhupada is writing, we find some incidents how the government can arrange for eating of cow flesh. It is here indicated that in a rare circumstances when there is no supply of grains, the government may sanction eating of meat. However, when there is sufficient fruit, the government should not allow eating of cow's flesh just to satisfy the uh, fastidious tongue. So government should not allow when there is. So in other words, in rare circumstances when people are suffering for want of grains, meat eating or flesh eating can be allowed, but not otherwise. Like Prabhupada, when he was going to America, they said there will not be any grains there. You have to eat meat. And Prabhupada took uh, flour which is sufficient for 3 months. He can make chapati and eat. And after that, he thought, okay, if nothing is there, I will eat meat. He was like thinking, okay, what can be done? So, not to satisfy tongue, for maintenance. So there is so much difference. The maintenance of slaughterhouses for the satisfaction of tongue and killing of animals unnecessarily should never be sanctioned by the government. That means actually the principle in this world is jivo jivasya jivan. One food, one living entity is food for another living entity. So that is how the creation is made only. Vegetables and fruits, they are also product of plants only. We have to cut for grains. We have to cut the crop. We have to kill it. But that means it is also violence is there, but minimum violence is there. Not like killing an animal and killing a plant. There is so much difference is there. The violence is more. What does it mean? Means the pain which experienced by an animal and pain experienced by a tree is very, very different. Pain experienced by a goat and pain experienced human, there is a difference. So we have to give minimum pain. And as described in the previous, cow and other animals should be given sufficient grass to eat. If despite a sufficient supply of grass, a cow does not supply milk, and if there is an acute shortage of food, the dried up cow may be utilized to feed the hungry mass of people. According to the law of necessity, first of all, human society must try to produce grains and vegetables. Unfortunately, what happens? They produce grains and vegetables to feed the cow and eat it. That's how it is happening. All the Amazon forest every day, hundreds of hectares of the forest is burned down so that they can produce soya bean. And the soya bean is produced in Brazil. They are transported to Europe where they feed the livestock and then they cut them and eat it. So that's how it is happening. So as human society is presently structured, there is sufficient production of grains all over the world. Therefore, the opening of slaughterhouse cannot be supported. So that's the reason so much unhappiness and unrest is there. If you see Western countries, for no reason people come out to the street for protest. Why? Because of this. They are just they are eating something which is not supposed to be taken. They are killing. So all the reaction is coming to them. Yeah, we are also doing violence only. Violence is there. Every food that is eaten is violence. But The point is that Yajnasishtasana. That's why Prabhupada said we are not vegetarians, we are not non-vegetarians, we are Krishnatarians. That is the reason we have to offer to Krishna and eat. Because Krishna don't eat non-veg, we don't eat. So the point is, and there is minimum violence. And another thing is the life still remains in that grain. There is prana in the grain, vegetables, fruits. But when it comes to non-veg, as soon as you kill the animal, it starts rotting. So it becomes into tamoguna. Whereas vegetables, fruits, grains, they still have sattva in it because they have still prana. So that is also one of the reasons that when we eat dead, it is very harmful because it is tamoguna. But when we eat something very fresh, vegetables, fruits, they will not rot for at least 1 week. Some of them, at least 2-3 days, they will stay fresh. That means the prana is still there. So when you take like that, then we get sattva in our body. So which is the source for nourishment. Ahara shuddho, sattva shuddhi. If ahara is pure, then our sattva, then our chitta is pure, like that. So we have to tell that, yeah, we are also killing, but our violence is there, which will not affect our mind. If there is so much violence in the food and we are eating, that will affect our mind. But if our violence of food is less, and when we eat, it has a different effect. That's why if you see the people who are very sattvic, they don't like to eat non-veg and other things. So they get that benefit also. The sattva guna is there in them, and it benefits them. So this is we should be very clear about the food, and we are not actually telling that we are not doing violence, because the rule itself is there. Bhagavatam itself says jivo jivasya jiva. So one living entity is food for other living entities, accepted only. But only thing is reduce the violence so that it won't damage us. If I am eating violence, I'll be violent. And if I eat less violence, I'll be less violent. Because whatever food we are eating, that's what we become. I am what I eat. If I am eating non-veg, I am violent. If I am eating veg, I am less violent. So, simple. Like that. And here, we see that so much unrest, and so people are so much in, for small thing, they get really frustrated and they come to the street, they protest. All these things, the main reason for this is their mental state is very disturbed. If you see in any Vedic culture, any of the Purana stories, Mahabharata story, or any of the literatures, even when King Vena is ruling, is such an atrocious person, there were never protests and violence in the streets of Bharatavarsha. Why? Because that's not actually the culture only. People still were having that ability to tolerate, not that they were very lazy. No, they had the ability to tolerate. The Brahmanas understood, no, this is going too much. That's why they killed Vena. But people in general, they didn't come out to the street for to protest. Because even though they were very hungry and all, they still continue to be very tolerant. And even in Pruthumara's case, even they are very hungry and all, they did not go onto the street for protest. They came to the king and requested, do something for us, we are dying out of hunger. And they said yes. Actually, when Britishers, they artificially created drought in Bengal, that time almost 20 lakh people died, maybe 20 to them. But there were never riots and protests in Bengal because of this famine. People did not, Prabhupada says that time that somehow he was fortunate because he was getting some grains and he was giving to the Gaudiya Math also. But Britishers created and many people died, but there were never protests. Because people have that tolerance in them, especially. And that is because they were eating such nice sattvic food, so they could tolerate. But now, small thing here and there, the social media blasts like anything. And people, because why they are so violent. See, violence also in the sense, see, if you are in social media, such a great violence. Anybody makes anything, people start commenting on it. And they don't even consider how much it is affecting the other person. In normal sense, if I am speaking, you made something and I just made a comment on it, or I made fun of it. Immediately you feel that immediately I can feel if you are not happy and you got hurt, I can feel, and I feel the responsibility. I unnecessarily made a comment and hurt this person, and I may apologize, or I may at least take back, or at least I become calm. But in internet, the cruelty is the next level. You can break the bones of a person, and without any responsibility, and without even knowing what is happening to the other person, I can just make a comment. And poor fellow, he made some video working very hard for many hours, and he posted on the social media, and people they troll, and then they make very stupid comments without even understanding what will happen to that person who maybe he meditated on it, worked very hard for 1 week, hours and hours he has spent. They don't care. This is bogus. This is nonsense. You are doing this. Why? So this is very unfortunate situation. And some people they are very sensitive, and maybe 10 people they praised and 2 people they gave negative comment. The people take that negative comment very seriously and get affected. So this is the problem, no, presently. The society, they are very cruel. And why the cruelties? The food they are eating is very cruel. They're eating violence, they become violent. This is the problem. So Prabhupada is telling in some nations there is so much surplus grains that sometimes extra grain is thrown into the sea. So this is done in United States. So sometimes government forbid further production of grains because it is considered wheat basket of the world. So they they dump so much of grains into the ocean so that they can raise the price of wheat. They are producing in surplus quantities, and the conclusion is that the earth produces sufficient grain to feed the entire population, but the distribution of this grain is restricted due to trade regulations and a desire for profit. That's the reason. And what happened is that even this is the time when Prabhupada was at that time, and the America, when the country was formed, they have this constitution in that no, the God in God we trust. So they were very pious people. American culture was very pious culture, and the God and other things church. But because of that, they became very prosperous, and it worked very well them for them. First World War and Second World War were a very big boom because they could sell so many weapons to the allied nations, and because of which they made good profits, and the country became very prosperous. But slowly, that God factor is disappearing, and because of which now we can see how there is so much unrest and unhappiness in the society. That is the reason. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So when they did dharma of believing God, they got artha, they got profit. But now it is changing. So now there is so much distribution is Prabhupada is consequent in some places. There is scarcity of grains, in other profuse productions. If there were no one government on the service of that to handle the distribution of it, there would be no question of scarcity, no necessity to open slaughterhouses, no need to present false theories about overpopulation. And Africa and other nations, it's very pathetic. Many countries they don't have sufficient grains also. Any cruel person, he be a man, woman, or impotent eunuch, who is not in, who is not interested in his personal maintenance, had and has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. So, Prabhupada is writing that if a selfish person, can be punished. Selfish person in the sense because of him, others are getting trouble. So in that sense here. The planet Earth is actually woman in her constitutional form. She's mother, right? And she, as such, she needs to be protected by the king. Maharaj Pittu argues, however, that if citizens were within citizen, that if a citizen within the state, he be man, woman, or eunuch, is not compassionate upon his fellow men, he or she may be killed by the king, and such killing is never to be considered actual killing. As far as field of spiritual activity is concerned, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories of Krishna, he is not considered a first-class devotee. A devotee who tries to preach, who has compassion upon innocent persons, who have no knowledge of Krishna, in a superior is a superior devotee. In his prayers to the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said that he is not personally interested in liberation. He did not wish to be liberated from this material condition until all fallen souls are delivered. So this is compassion, what Prabhupada is expecting. Tam sabdham durmadam nitva mayagam tilasha sharira atmayoge bale nema dharayishyamyaham praja. You are very much puffed up with pride and have become almost insane. Presently, you have assumed the form of a cow by your mystic powers. Nonetheless, I shall cut you into small pieces like grain, and I will uphold the entire population by personal mystic powers. And Madurai said, where you will have the citizens? Maharaj says, I will hold them. You don't worry. But I will kill you. As such, even to think of killing a cow is considered very sinful. Not even just killing. Even to think only is a very sinful activity. So, and in Vedic culture, people even don't get a thought like that. There is no thought like killing a mother. Who will think like that? So, sometimes when they're angry, they may speak, but not. This is not any. Really, they may do that. So, like I gave this story in Punjab. So once they generally keep some small what do you say some brick construction something outside the houses where they pour water and they put some fodder for the stray cows. They come wandering around and they drink water and these things. So what happened? One Vaishya, he in front of his house, he constructed a small what do you say box type so that the cows can come and drink water. So one cow came and its horn got stuck into the wall, which is just connecting to it, and it was not able to come out. So all the people came around. They wanted to help the cow, but they're not understanding how. So everybody was suggesting many things, and some suggested let us break the wall so that the cow can be freed. And one person he suggested we'll cut the horn of a cow, and then eventually that businessman will break the wall, and they broke the wall, and the cow got free. And then the messengers of the king were around, so they went and they informed that so thing happened, and the cow was freed. But they told that one incident happened, one thing happened that one man suggested that we should cut the horn of a cow. As soon as the king heard it, immediately he summoned the boy and then he called the mother also. And he said, how did you get this child? Because in the kingdom, just to think to harm a cow itself is a very sinful activity. And how did you get this type of a son? The woman said, no, I am very chaste. I didn't have any wrong. I am very faithful to my husband. I never even think of any other man in my mind also. Then king asked, how did you get this son then? How can a sinful son be born? Then she says that actually at the time of conceiving, in the morning I saw a butcher, early morning. I just went to the window and I saw a butcher. And I thought, this person is very sinful and no. I was in a very emotional state, and I was just thinking of a butcher, such a sinful life he is living and all. And then that is the day I conceived the child. So then, and because of which this thought appeared in his mind, because the thought which is in the mother's mind will go into the consciousness of the child also. So immediately he got affected by it. So then that is the reason. Then the king ordered that from now onwards, all the women they should have a ring in which there should be a mirror, and as soon as they wake up in the morning, they should look into their face. They should not look into anybody. And also they follow this rule there. Some places. Why? Because even the thought itself, here two things are there. One is the consciousness of child is how much it is affecting by the consciousness of mother. But another thing is, even the thought itself to harm a cow is considered very simple. Here, Maharaj will I'll cut you into pieces and like grains and I'll have and feed the population. It is not that it's just to threaten Mother Earth he is speaking. And he knows that it is not cow, it is Mother Earth. So, and he will not do it, but he is just chastising her. So, the earth informed Prithu that uh, if he destroyed her, he and his subjects would all fall down into the waters of Garbha, the ocean. King Prithu now replies to that point. Uh, Although the earth assumed the shape of a cow by her mystic powers in order to be saved from being killed by the king, the king was aware of this fact and would not hesitate to cut her to pieces, just like small bits of it. So here the point is she is not really cow. Otherwise, even for the cow they don't think, and even for mother and woman also they will not think. As far as the destruction of citizens, Mother Pruthi maintained that he could upheld everyone by his own mystic powers. He did not need to help of the earthly planet. Because if you see, when Lord Rama he wanted to kill Tataka, he was so much hesitant. Vishwamitra Muni had to many times insist, kill, no problem. It is a demon. I know it is becoming evening time, twilight, they will become more powerful, kill it. And with great hesitation, Ram killed Tataka. And Krishna has to kill the first demon is Putana. So he closed his eyes. He said, "Oh my God, again I cannot kill, not again." He closed his eyes because the first demon came with a woman. So the point is, it is not considered very. Uh, it is not considered good that you punish and kill it. But in exception cases, the two demonic and they are performing so many atrocities. That's why Shurpanaka was not killed. They just chopped her nose and ear, and that's how they punished her because it is not considered uh, uh, very proper to punish and kill it. And here, but it's special cases. Prithvimaharaj possesses the power of Sankarshana, which is explained by the scientists as the power of gravitation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is holding millions of planets in space without any support. So, similarly, Prithu Maharaj would not have any difficulty in supporting all citizens, helping him space without the help of earth. So, the Lord is known as Yogeshwara, mystic of master of all mystic power. Consequently, the planet Earth was informed that king that she need not be worried about the standing without her help. So, at that time, Prithu Maharaj became exactly like Yamaraj. So, Yamaraj punishes all, woman, man. Why? Because he does not take the body. He takes the settled body. So it is easy for him to punish. See, if your body is male and female and male is the gross body, right? Yamadutas don't touch the gross body. They will take the settled body out and take to Yamaloka, give another body and punish them. So he don't deal with the gross body only. So he's trying to punish in that way. So once your settled body, gross body is taken out, we are not male or female. We are just spirit soul only with a settled body. We can be any person. You can be animal here, there. external. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is death personified to miscreants and the Supreme Beloved Lord to the devotees. So he says that Hiranyakashipu, for example, challenged the authority of Supreme Lord and Lord met him as Narasimha. Similarly, planet Earth saw Maharaj Prithu as death personified. And she also saw him in the mood of anger personified. Therefore, she began to tremble. One cannot challenge the authority of Supreme Lord in any circumstances. It is better to surrender unto him. So the planet Earth spoke, my dear Lord, O Supreme, you are transcendental to your position. By your material energy, you have expanded yourself in various forms and species of life through the interactions of three modes of nature. Unlike some other masters, you always remaining in your transcendental position and you are not affected by material creation. This is subject to different material creations. Consequently, you are not bewildered by material modes. So this is the standard prayers. Anyone, anytime prayers come, this is the standard thing we hear. You are beyond the three modes. Other lords are affected. You are not affected. So here also same prayer Maharaj, Mother Earth is giving. And she says that after King Prithu gave his royal command, the planet Earth in the shape of cow could understand that the king was a direct empowered incarnation of Supreme Lord. Consequently, the king knows everything past, present, and future. Thus, there was no possibility of Earth cheating him. So, this is the point. The Earth was accused of hiding the seeds of all herbs and grains, and therefore she is preparing to explain how the seeds of these herbs and grains can be again exposed. Earth knew that the king was very angry with her, and she realized that unless she pacified his anger, there was no possibility of placing a positive program before him. So therefore, first she trying to pacify her. In beginning of her speech, she very humbly presented herself as part and parcel of Supreme Lord's body. She submitted that various bodily forms manifest in his physical world are but different parts of the Lord. So the Lord creates this material world by his external energy. He always situated in that. So these are all the prayers which Mother Earth performed. She prayed to him, and one nice point he says that there should not be difficulty understanding situation. Just as a devotee is never bewildered by his material body, the Lord is never bewildered by external. A devotee is not hampered by material body, although he is situated in physical body that runs according to some material conditions. Just as there are five kinds of air functionings within the body and so many organs. The spirit soul, who is in full knowledge of his position, is always engaged in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, as far as material body is concerned, there are six waves or symptomatic material conditions: hunger, thirst, lamentation, bewilderment, old age, and death. So, question is, through the settled body, only the living entity enjoys the suffering in heaven? No, no, they get another body which is suitable for that enjoyment and punishment. If you go to heaven, we get another body which is suitable for that unlimited pleasure. And when person goes to a hellish planet, they get another body which will be suitable for getting punishments. Because our body is not fit for both also. Extreme pleasure and extreme suffering, our body cannot endure. It will die. It will die means, yeah. So, but in heaven, extreme pleasure can be experienced. And in hell, extreme pleasure with the senses and mind. And in hell, extreme pain and suffering like that. Okay. Uh, so they get different types of bodies. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Uh, thank you all very much. Any questions, comments? ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद। हरे कृष्ण।